It seems the end of Star Wars is now here. Star Wars used to be easily the most popular franchise on the face of the earth. Star Wars had one of the largest fan bases on the face of the earth. If you criticized Star Wars, you were considered a loser. If you didn't like Star Wars, you were considered an outcast because everybody except for like a few mere weirdos and trolls, which I used to be one of those trolls who hated Star Wars for no reason. Um, basically, hated Star Wars just because it was popular, or and very few people actually had legitimate reasons to hate Star Wars. Well then, but that was before 2017 when Disney decided to release a pile of garbage called The Last Jedi. Yes, it's even right here, The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi basically killed Star Wars. The Last Jedi still managed to gross $1 billion for some odd reason. Do not understand. It's because it's a Star Wars movie. And people thought Solo was still going to gross 700 million, but no one talked about Solo. And Solo was the first movie to bomb since first Star Wars movie ever to flop. Yes, Star Wars, a franchise that is beloved by millions, had a movie flop. Was this called for drastic measures by Disney? Disney star is because, and then let's go to Rian Johnson. He attacked the fans of Star Wars, calling them all the names out of the book because the fans were angry. Then Mark Campbell said that those new Star Wars movies are wasted opportunities, and all the fans agreed. And then Admiral Akbar, even the actor of Admiral Akbar, dissed The Last Jedi. And then, of course, let's not forget the episode IX, which is supposed to be one of the biggest movies of 2019. The trailer, the poster came out, nobody cared. The trailer came out, people just went back to their normal lives. Unlike Endgame, people were talking about Endgame, and how Endgame was going to break records, which it did. But no one talked about episode IX. And until World Crashes posted his video, yes, that's his actual YouTube channel's name, but basically exposed the truth about the Star Wars. Nobody cares about Star Wars anymore. Star Wars is dead, and Disney killed it. Disney killed what was once the most profitable franchise, besides Pokemon. No, one of the most profitable franchises besides Mario Bros, Pokemon, and Marvel. Those are the only other franchises that can make as much money as Star Wars. And Star Wars, no one cares about Star Wars. It's just a fact now. Look at Star Wars Episode IX hype. There's nothing there compared to what The Force Awakens had. Nobody is talking about Star Wars besides the media. Nobody cares about what happens next in Star Wars because the new characters are not that great. Like Rey could be a good character if they gave her an actual character and not just this bland, boring, straight. Like Luke Skywalker, there was a reason why Luke Skywalker became a hero. Rey, she just became hero because because the story needed a hero. Story needed a good guy, so they just picked some random person from the desert. Of course, they had to pay homage for the first Star Wars movie, which is pretty great. But a lot of the characters in the new Star Wars movies are bland. The only characters that people like are all dead, well, basically mistreated, or outside on the sidelines like R2-D2 and C-3PO. Like Luke Skywalker, he had the difference between Luke Skywalker and Rey. Luke Skywalker, he didn't want to become a hero, until they kind of came back and Stormtroopers killed his parents. No, his foster parents that Obi-Wan, because his real parents is Darth Vader, no Anakin and Padme, but Obi-Wan gave them to those guys to keep them a secret, and the Stormtroopers killed his parents, so Luke Skywalker had to be a Jedi. She was just attacked because Finn escaped from a place and dragged it into all this because of reasons. Because Finn decided to be defective to the First Order. Which one is much more better? Well, I choose the first one. And then we'll talk about the main villain of Star Wars. Darth Vader is a much better villain than Kylo Ren. Did Darth Vader bitch around and cry and whine the whole movies and stuff and act like an emo? Well, no. Unless they talk about the prequels. Because Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker are the same person. But Kylo Ren is easily the worst Star Wars villain ever. And he's even worse than the villain. He's even worse than most of the villains. No, he's the worst villain of all Star Wars. There's no worse villain than Kylo Ren. And we'll talk about Rose Tico, one of the worst Star Wars character ever made. There's no character worse than Rose Tico. Jar Jar Binks contributed more to the Star Wars storyline than Rose Tico ever did. Rose Tico, all she did was free a few horses and ruin Finn's moment. That's all she did. Jar Jar Binks actually brought Palpatine to power. Yes, it was Jar Jar Binks who brought Palpatine to power. So Jar Jar Binks indirectly caused the Star Wars by bringing Palpatine to power by manipulating the Senate to bring Palpatine to emergency powers in the Senate in the prequels. And Rose Tico did absolutely nothing in The Last Jedi. And I won't be surprised he does absolutely nothing in Episode IX. And we're talking about Snoke. Snoke is easily the second worst villain because he does absolutely nothing in the new movies. He shows up as a gigantic hologram. They tell Kylo Ren that he needs a training done, and in the next film they just kill him off. He's this important character like Palpatine, and they kill him off. The only character that actually brings at least some story is Finn because he's a stormtrooper, and so that not all stormtroopers are evil, and some stormtroopers can actually defect from the dark side. But that's basically it. You have all these characters in the original trilogy that are all likable, and then you have like one character in the new trilogy that is not a reused character from the old trilogy that is unlikable. Okay? Name any besides R2-D2 and C-3PO, most of these characters are not likable in the movie. They even made Luke Skywalker unlikable, which is kind of pretty hard to do. Make a fan favorite character unlikable to make one of the most popular Star Wars characters unlikable. Oh wait, they did that before Anakin Skywalker because Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. But basically Star Wars, no interest in episode 9. All the characters are bad in Star Wars. And I haven't seen Solo, and I'm not going to go see Solo. I don't want to see episode 9, as episode 9 does not does not want me to see it. I talked about it for a day, I was talking about it for a day, and then I moved on to other, much more better and more interesting movies than this movie. Like, what else is coming out on the same month as Star Wars? Well, it's a Jumanji 3, and I'd rather see that than see Star Wars Episode 9, The End of a Saga. And the biggest insult, to say they're continuing Star Wars in 2022 in the future, no one cared. Star Wars used to be the most popular franchise, easily one of the most popular movie franchises on the face of the earth. Before the MCU, the most popular movie franchise of all time. Well, now Star Wars is just reduced to, who cares? And that's basically it. Kind of like Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, because of the 2016 train wreck, has been just reduced to, a franchise that no one cares about. A franchise that, besides the original two movies, if there's a new Ghostbusters movie, no one cares. No, it's like, nobody cares. Same thing with Episode 9 and Star Wars. No one cares about Episode 9. Like Jurassic Park. I won't be surprised if people are still excited for the next Jurassic World, despite Fallen Kingdom being disappointing, because Fallen Kingdom was disappointing because it was a boring middle arc of a franchise. And I bet the next movie will be much more better than Fallen Kingdom. And Star Wars is not doing that. Star Wars is dead. Okay? Not almost dead, not completely dead. As Star Wars ran. And then let's go to the saddest thing. Star Wars Land. Yes, Disney opened Star Wars Land, and basically, it's all about the money. It's not about actual fans because Disney does not care about the fans. Disney only cares about the dollars and the money. So, Star Wars is another dead franchise that Disney has ruined. At least Disney might get to the point with EA with the most Marvel in the franchises, and the MCU is next with Captain Marvel. But we will have to wait until what happens after Spider-Man Far From Home with the MCU. But the MCU is gonna be next with Disney's kill streak. They already killed Star Wars. They're going to kill off the MCU with the woke politics. And then let's talk about the woke politics in Star Wars. The woke politics also ruined it with Admiral Holdo and the feminism and basically all the diverse messages they put in the movies. Which, of course, it can't, like, Star Wars. The original series of Star Wars was not all white men, and the first one was, but it was kind of like the building blocks. But there were some people of color added into the way of Star Wars movies. Even animals are added into a Star Wars movie like Chewbacca and Akbar. Aliens. People from creatures that are not from Earth. And the person of color I'm talking about is, of course, Lando Calrissian, who is much better than most of the new trilogy characters to begin with. And now let's go to Star Wars toys. Star Wars toys. Oh yes, Star Wars toys are dead. The last time I went to Walmart and Maya, Star Wars toys occupied only like a smidge of the toy section. The MCU had like 4 times the toy section in Maya than of Star Wars did. Star Wars only occupied a small smidge of the area of the store. Transformers had a bigger shelf space than Star Wars. Transformers, a franchise that Michael Bay nearly killed off, still has more shelf space because more people like the Transformers franchise and will buy the merchandise because the testament to a successful franchise is how does after feeders. Jurassic Park merchandise are still selling even after Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Disappointed. Transformers and Cows Free. Cows Free was a disappointing movie. Had disappointing parts to it. I liked number one, number two much better. But merchandise still sold. People still bought merchandise for Cows Free. People still bought all the toys for Cows Free. Same thing with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and Transformers. People still bought the merchandise. And well, even Western films, like Western movies that made less money, like Alita, like you see the merchandise for Alita Battle Angel completely sell out within days. Star Wars, that only happens when it's an original trilogy. The new characters, they sell on shelves for years. Like Rose Tico. Yes, I saw and like at the and when I went to Myers they were still selling Force Awakens stuff. That's how poorly Star Wars toys are selling, and even Hasbro admitted themselves that Star Wars is losing the money. And that's basically it. Nobody cares about Star Wars anymore. Star Wars is a dead franchise. Only like the very, very die-hard fans still talk about the new Star Wars movies. Because your average Joe, because of The Last Jedi, you just moved on to other much more successful franchises such as the MCU and Jurassic World and basically and even Pixar movies and other franchises like Jumanji, which Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle was a much more entertaining movie and a much better movie than The Last Jedi ever will be. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And remember, Disney killed Star Wars, not the fans.